Ep.4 ItthiJit podcast. Believe it or not, before I became Ray YARATA, the creator of the ItthiJit System, I was a photo editor with an ego of 1,000%. In EP4, I take you back to the true origin, from the flashy world of fashion to the humble hut of Luang Pu Lord, an enlightened master of the forest monk lineage. And the moment of truth. After just 7 days of meditation, my third eye began to open. A blinding light appeared, but I chose to say no and turned back. Why did I return such a gift, and how did this become the foundation of human Pulsecore? Let's listen to the AI decode this journey.
Okay, imagine this. You're standing in a long, dark hallway. It's quiet, maybe a little too quiet. And then suddenly, a door right in front of you just cracks open. And inside, there isn't just light, there is raw power, an expansion of your consciousness.
No.
You realize in that split second that if you step through that door, you get a superpower.
You unlock the third eye.
Exactly. You can see things nobody else can. You can leave your body. It's every spiritual seeker, every sci-fi fan. It's the moment everyone dreams of.
It's the red pill moment, the call to adventure.
Totally.
Yeah.
But here's the twist. You look at that blinding light, you feel this power just, I don't know, surging like a jet engine, and you slam the door shut.
You say no thanks.
Not today.
Who does that?
Someone who knows just how dangerous that door can be if you haven't read the safety manual first. Or maybe someone who realizes that walking through that door means they can never go back to the life they actually enjoy.
That is the central mystery we're unpacking today. Welcome back to the deep dive. We are looking into the origin story of Ray YARATA. Now, if you follow anything in the world of consciousness hacking or alt tech, you've probably heard of him. He created the ItthiJit System, the human Pulsecore technology.
Right, but today we aren't talking about the product. We're not doing the sales pitch. We're talking about the man before the product.
And it is quite a pivot. We're looking at his own account in E4, which details how he went from this high-flying, arrogant fashion editor to a humble monk.
And how a terrifying flash of light in a silent temple became the blueprint for the tech he sells today.
It's a case study in self-awareness that I think is really going to challenge a lot of people.
It challenged me, honestly, because usually these backstories are so sanitized. You know, I was meditating on a mountain and the truth came to me.
Right.
But Ray is just delightfully, almost painfully honest about who he was. He paints this picture of himself as a man with, and I love this quote, 1,000% ego.
That number just jumps out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not 100%, 1,000.
It sets the scene perfectly. His name was Raywat. He was a fashion magazine editor. And from his description, he didn't just work in fashion, he was fashion.
Obsessed with image, superficiality, sky-high confidence. He says his confidence was over the moon.
He's the archetype of that modern, successful, professional, driven, a little arrogant.
Completely identified with the external world. He describes a life where that confidence is really just a huge shield for the ego. He was successful, stylish, and probably kind of unbearable.
Which is so important because it frames everything that happens next. This wasn't a guy who was, looking for enlightenment.
Not at all. He wasn't depressed or seeking some capital T truth. By all societal standards, he was winning the game of life.
So why does a guy like that, a guy who loves his designer clothes and his status, end up shaving his head and putting on robes? It seems like a massive U-turn. Was it a midlife crisis or something?
It wasn't a crisis. It was more like a transaction. And I mean that in the most culturally specific and loving way possible.
It was for his mom.
Specifically, his adopted mother. He mentions coming from a broken home, but this adopted mother raised him. She later became a nun herself.
Wow.
And Ray felt this profound debt of gratitude to her. In Thai Buddhism, there's this concept of merit. It's believed that when a son ordains as a monk, it generates immense spiritual merit for his parents.
It's like the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Better than flowers.
Essentially, yeah. He saw it as a duty. He explicitly says he planned to go in for just 8 days. That was the contract.
Get in, be a monk, make mom happy, get the merit, and get back to the fashion shoots.
Exactly. You thought he could just put his 1,000% ego on standby.
We all do that, right? We try to compartmentalize our good deeds, like I'll do the yoga retreat for a weekend, but I'm keeping my phone on.
Precisely. But the thing with genuine spiritual practice is that it doesn't really care about your schedule.
Yeah.
You can't negotiate with it. Ray walked into that temple with a plan, but the environment itself was designed to dismantle plans.
Let's talk about that environment, because he didn't just go to any local temple. He went to Wat Siri Kamala was, and the teacher there, This was not just some random abbot.
No, and this is crucial for the credibility of the whole story. He ordained under Luang Pu Lord, and the text describes him as Arhat of the city.
Okay, for listeners who might not be deep into the terminology, break that down. What's an Arhat?
An Arhat is someone who has attained nirvana. They've reached the end of the path. They are, for all intents and purposes, enlightened. It's the highest goal.
Wow.
And his lineage is significant too. He comes from the line of Luang Pu Lord.
Luang Pu Mun, that's a name that carries a lot of weight in Thailand right
He's
now.
the giant of the Thai forest tradition. I mean, these were monks who didn't live in comfortable city temples. They lived in caves, in the jungle, with tigers and cobras. Their practice was incredibly rigorous.
So Ray, the fashion editor with the 1000% Ogo, is suddenly plugged into this lineage known for extreme mental discipline. It's a complete collision of worlds.
It's like sending a reality TV star to Navy SEAL training.
You expect them to wash out on day one. But Ray, he adopts this strategy that I found so funny, but also really smart. He decides to play the good boy.
It's a survival mechanism.
Yep.
He knows his ego is too big. If he tries to argue or question the methods, he'll just waste the 8 days. So he tells himself, for 8 days, I will be a robot. I will be the best good boy this temple has ever seen.
He basically put his own ego in a timeout.
And that submission, even if it was calculated, is what accelerated everything. Because he stopped fighting the process started working on him way faster than he expected.
Which brings us to this visualization technique he used to drop his ego. This is where we see the first glimpse of the ItthiJit system he develops later. It wasn't just thinking about letting go.
No, it was mechanical. He describes it physically.
Right. On day one, he visualizes the ego just falling off his head.
Like taking off a really heavy, tight helmet. You know that feeling of relief?
Totally. Then day two, it falls off his shoulders. Day three, it slides down to his elbows. He is systematically shedding this invisible weight.
And the result he describes is a profound sense of lightness. In his later work, he talks about this a lot, that emotional baggage, karma, ego, it has a specific energetic weight. It's not just a metaphor.
So he was basically discovering the prototype of his own technology right there in the temple, almost by accident.
Yeah.
So picture this. He's scrubbing away the ego, he feels lighter, he's the teacher's pet, everything is going great, he's counting down the days until he can go back to his magazines, and then we get to day 7.
The night before he leaves. The exit interview with the universe.
He's sitting in meditation after the evening chanting. The text says his mind is gathering. It becomes empty and clear like a glass. He's in a really deep state. And then, bam.
A violent flash.
He says it hit him right in the middle of his forehead, the classic third eye spot.
Yeah.
But he doesn't describe it as, a nice warm glow. He says he felt a sensation like an actual eye was struggling to tear itself open.
It was intense. Physical.
And this is the moment where physics meets metaphysics for him. Up until then, maybe he thought all the stories about monks flying or reading minds were just stories.
Myths, right.
Yeah.
But in that split second, with that pressure in his forehead, he realized, oh, it's real.
He mentions realizing that monomyety was possible. What is that exactly?
It's roughly mind-made body. It's a kind of astral projection where your consciousness creates a subtle body that can travel outside the physical one.
Yeah.
He realized the mechanism to do that was activating right there in his head. The engine was revving.
So he's on the launch pad, the engines are firing, he has the chance to get a RIDI, a superpower. He can leave his body, explore the cosmos.
He could see the unseen.
And this brings us to the core conflict. Most of us, if we're being honest, would say, let's go, I want to fly.
Beam me up.
Yeah. But Ray, he pulls the emergency brake, he snacks his eyes open and just says, nope.
And that refusal is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole story. That's why we're talking about him today. If he'd gone through that door, who knows?
Yeah.
He might have become a great mystic, or he might have gone completely insane.
By stopping, he learned a lesson that became the foundation for his entire business. He gives 3 specific reasons for stopping, and I think we should break them down because they're so human. Reason number 1, fear.
Pure, primal fear.
Yeah.
He was terrified that if his consciousness just shot out of his body, he wouldn't know how to get back. It's like being put in the cockpit of a fighter jet as it's taking off, and you've never had a single flying lesson.
Which is a very rational fear. We talk about astral travel like it's a vacation, but if you actually felt your soul leaving your body, you'd probably think you were dying.
Exactly. It's the fear of dissolution. The ego just screams.
Okay, reason number 2 is my favorite because of how honest it is. He calls it kinesa, desire.
Yeah, he just straight up admits, I'm still having fun. He knew he wasn't done with the world. He liked his job. He liked the fashion. He liked the status.
He wasn't ready to kill the party.
Right. He realized that if he stepped through that door and saw ultimate truth, he might not be able to care about fashion magazines anymore. And he loved his illusions. That level of self-awareness is so rare.
Refreshingly honest. Sorry, can't reach nirvana today. I like my nice shoes too much.
Pretty much. And then there's reason 3. This one's more philosophical. He realized it wasn't the path.
What does that mean?
This is the wisdom part. He understood that having a superpower opening the third eye, having visions, is not the same thing as nirvana. These powers are often seen as distractions in Buddhism, sidetracks.
So you could have a third eye and still be miserable or angry.
Exactly. Chasing the cool light wasn't the same as ending suffering.
So you have fear, desire, and wisdom all converging to make him say, return to sender on this divine gift.
And that moment of saying no is what makes him a teacher today. He realized he was spiritually immature. He had the engine power, the focus, but he didn't have the chassis to handle the speed. He lacked the foundation.
Which leads us directly to the human Pulsecore system, because it seems like a contradiction, right? He rejected the superpower, but now he sells a system to help people develop their minds.
It seems like one, but it's a crucial distinction. He's not selling the superpower. He's selling the safety protocol.
Yeah.
The lesson he took away was, don't open the door until you've cleaned the room.
He talks about the danger of digging into the subconscious too early. What happens if you open that third eye with a dirty mind?
Well, think about what's in your subconscious. Old trauma, repressed anger, weird ego trips. If you amplify your consciousness without clearing that stuff out first, you don't get enlightenment. You get a high-definition broadcast of your own nightmares.
It's like turning on a floodlight in a hoarder's house. You're just going to see a lot of trash really, really clearly.
Exactly. And that can be psychologically damaging. Ray realized he almost got lost because he hadn't done the cleaning. So, human Pulsecore was designed as a tool to do that cleaning. He uses a great metaphor for it.
The detergent.
The detergent, yeah. He says, I sell the premium detergent. That's the Pulsecore system. But he's very clear about the second half of the metaphor. If the system is the detergent, who is the brush?
You are. The user is the brush.
You have to do the scrubbing yourself.
That's the key. We live in a world of hacks. Everyone wants a pill for enlightenment.
And Ray is saying, look, I can give you the best tool, but I cannot do the work for you. Money can buy the detergent, but it can't buy the scrubbing.
It's a call to personal responsibility. He's saying, I've been to the edge, I almost lost it because I wasn't ready, don't make my mistake.
Exactly. He's selling preparation. The system is designed to clean the conscious mind, the day-to-day stuff, so you can build a foundation strong enough to eventually handle what's in the subconscious.
So that when the third eye does open, you don't freak out. You can handle the voltage.
You can handle the voltage. That's a perfect way to put it.
It's interesting to think about spiritual maturity as a prerequisite for spiritual power. We usually assume power is maturity. If someone can read minds, we assume they're wise.
But Ray is living proof that you can have high power, the light with low maturity, the fear and the desire. That's the 1,000% ego coming full circle. The 1,000% ego guy would have taken that power and used it to become a cult leader.
Right. But the monk in training had just enough humility to say, I can't handle this yet.
And that vulnerability is really his credential. He's not saying, I am the master who conquered the universe. He's saying, I'm the guy who was almost eaten by the universe, and here's the shield I built so it doesn't happen to you.
It really challenges you as a listener. We're all chasing upgrades, a better job, a higher state of consciousness. We want more.
But Ray's story asks, is your hardware ready for the software update? If you got everything you wanted right now, would it liberate you or would it just destroy you?
It's amazing this all happened in 8 days. Fashion editor to the brink of astral projection and back again.
And he says in the text that if anyone stood where he stood, they would say, it's worth it. Even though he turned it down, the glimpse changed him. It proved to him what the mind is capable of.
But the worthiness depends on the timing. It's worth it if you're ready.
Correct. It wasn't a no forever. It was a not yet.
So as you wrap up this deep dive, we have this image of Ray YARATA, the fashion editor who became a monk, stared into the abyss, and decided to come back and sell soap.
The most important soap you'll ever buy.
With scrubbing required.
Absolutely.
So here's the thought we want to leave you with today. It's a question of capacity. Ray turned down a miracle because he knew his container was too small and maybe too dirty to hold it.
So the question for you is, What are you asking for right now that you aren't actually ready to receive? If that door opened for you tonight, if the light flashed, would you have the wisdom to close it? Or would you let your ego jump through?
We all assume we're the hero who can handle the magic sword, but maybe, just maybe, we need to spend a little more time scrubbing the floor first.
Start with the scrubbing. The sword can wait.
Start with the scrubbing. I like that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's a fascinating reminder that sometimes the biggest step forward is just knowing when to stop. Until next time.
And keep an eye on your ego.
That was the most crucial lesson of my life. The third eye experience taught me one thing: diving into the subconscious without a shield is dangerous. That is exactly why I engineered Human Pulsecore. Think of it as premium detergent for your mind, but remember, you are the brush. You must do the scrubbing yourself. If you are ready to cleanse your current mind and build a solid foundation, I have prepared the uncompressed master file .wave for you at my Ko-Fi shop. Search on Google Ray YARATA paragraph ko-fi. The text will appear on the screen for you to read, or click the link in the description. Download it and start scrubbing. I am Ray YARATA. See you in the next frequency.